Yeah, Derick, I'm JG with AuburnSports.com. It seemed a little sluggish out there in the beginning on both sides of the ball. Did it kind of pick up as the practice went on today?
Right. Yeah, and that's pretty much expected coming out the first 2 days of camp. Just dealing with the conditions of the heat and getting out, moving around, getting back in football shape. So I think yesterday was a little sluggish, and today was a lot better. And obviously, that comes with speed and throughout the practice. So we did a lot better.
Derick, Nathan King, Auburn 24/7. I know you talked about Marcus working with him over the summer, but what have your impressions been of him actually being on the field with him these first couple of days?
Right. So like you said, it's our first time really seeing him actually playing football. He looks really good. He's gonna be good for us. He's gonna help us out a lot. His pass rush is really good. He can bend off the edge. He's a bigger guy. I think Marcus weighs close to 270, if I'm not mistaken. So something that we're not accustomed to, obviously. But I mean, he looks good at that way. He moves good at that way. So we're just trying to get him along, get him caught up in the scheme, and he looks really well.
Derick, TomRaynell.com. Just what's it been like getting to see Jeffrey actually out there now after he was kind of sidelined in the spring?
Right. Jeffrey looks good. He's raw. He's young. In the aspect of football age, let me say that. He's fairly new to this game, but I mean, he's willing to work. And one thing about Jeffrey, I mean, his attitude and his approach to the game, he studies, he loves us, he loves Auburn, he loves his teammates. So just having that attitude, I mean, you'll come out every day and obviously get better. He's taking that next step every day, and the physical features are there, obviously. So we're happy to have him, and he's helping us out.
Derick, Mark Murphy from Inside the Auburn Tigers,
Yes, sir.
24/7. Talk about your position group. Looks like you get a lot of individual attention from Rod with such a small bunch out there.
Right. So obviously we have split practices right now. So we have the older guys go and then the younger guys. But at that point, it's still only 6 of us. But yes, individual attention is huge for Rock. He's very detailed. He takes that time in Indy to heart, and he really wants to develop and help us grow our game. Whether it be pass rush, whether it be run, whether it be hands, feet. I mean, whatever we're working on that day, he takes it to heart. He wants us to be better. He wants to develop us. So just having that one-on-one time and knowing that he's putting everything into it and really helping us get better is huge for the unit as a whole.
The last time we talked to you was SEC Media Days. Since then, you were named preseason first team All-SEC. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's great. Obviously, that's preseason. I have to still do the work to earn those awards. So just coming out here every day and trying to put 2 and 2 together, but to be able to be recognized for first team all SEC and whatever else is out there is honorable. So I'm blessed to be there, but obviously I have to do the work to get those. So.
Anybody else?
Jason, Auburn 247. When you think about the depth on that defensive line, what's the key for a young guy to take the next step? What are a couple things that has to happen for guys to go from playing a little bit to being a big time contributor?
Right. So I think the biggest thing is just attention to detail. Watching the guy in front of you, watching all the guys work, see how they work, see how they do things. I know that was big for me coming in and having Marlon and Derick there. So that's the first step I would take. And then the next step is just being honed in. Make sure you know the scheme. Make sure that everything that we're doing day in and day out. Going back and studying. Know the things that you need to grow on before the meetings become. So right now you should be watching practice before we even get to the meeting. So just kind of work ahead of the game a little bit. And just be willing to work and be coachable. So I think that's the biggest thing. And going from a little experience to taking the next step to being a veteran.
How much does it help that you guys are in the second year of a scheme? You know what's going on, you know what you're doing, and where you guys can now coach up some of those guys too.
Right, it helps a lot. I got to ask a lot of questions about this scheme change. The scheme's pretty much the same. So being able to take that next step and knowing what you're doing and being able to help and coach, you also learn also. So you learn more, but you're also helping someone push along and helping them take that next step. So it's good because the coaches aren't having to always be in one spot and coaching one guy. When you know the scheme, you're able to help the team move further faster.
Derick, Colby said yesterday that Jeffrey's kind of funny without even knowing that he is. What about his personality? Y'all get to know him this offseason. Obviously, he hasn't been here that long, but what about his personality has kind of gelled with you guys so far?
Right. So Jeffrey's unique. He lights up the room. Let me say that first and foremost. When he walks in the room, what's up, bro? And you half the time you better understand what you're saying. Like, Jeffrey, huh? What do you mean? What are you trying to say? And just walking up after practice, Robbie was like, hey, Jeffrey, stop writing your numbers in French. He's like, what numbers? So it's just little stuff like that that makes you laugh and makes you chuckle. But he's a great player. He brings that characteristic. He brings joy into the room. He brings light into the room. So we couldn't ask for more.
What have you all Sports Illustrated? You gonna break the sack record this year?
No, definitely. That's the goal. Last year was a really good year. went back and watched some film and could have definitely had that opportunity last year, and I definitely should have had that opportunity last year. So just trying to make that next step and turn pressures or miss sacks into sacks and help me and this team get better. So that's the goal.
Yeah, what does Jason Jones bring to this defense for you guys?
Brings a lot. Physical attributes, of course. Brings a lot of veteran knowledge coming over from Oregon. Just being able to play this game and play at the level that we're playing, and he came right in and didn't back down, didn't bow down, and he's getting the scheme down, and he's helping us obviously as far as depth. He's one of those guys that I think is leading that defensive line room. So just being able to have him there, his work effort, his diligence towards the scheme, and just being able to learn everything, I think it's huge. So he's doing a really good job.
To have a guy of that size in the middle, what does it do for the rest of the defense?
Oh man, it helps us a lot. It brings me back to Derick. When Derick was here, he would gobble up 2 or 3 people, and Jason have that ability to do that. So it helps the linebackers run free. It takes a little bit of pressure off of us. So just being able to have that, it helps everyone as a whole.
Yeah, Coach Harsin was in here the other day saying that the offensive line needed to get better, physically get more physical, and he feels like they have improved in that regard.
Right.
Just what kind of difference have you seen going head to head with that unit from last year to this year?
Offensive line is looking a lot better. They're in better shape physically. Their mental state is better. They're moving around better. Overall, they're looking really good. And just the strides I've seen them take with Nick Brahms, Troxel coming back, Brandon Council being healthy, DeAndre Jones coming back, Keelan Zaire. Just across the board. They are pushing to make strides in the right direction. And every day, we're banging, we're knocking. So to be able to go against them and being able to make them better and them making me better is huge. So for personal development right now, we aren't playing anyone. So just being able to have that, I think is very beneficial, and all lines looking really good.
How different is Killian now than the guy you worked against when he came back from injury?
Yes, completely different. He's moving good. He looks good. As far as difference from injury, I think the biggest thing is movement. Just being able to, when to shoot his hands, because at the time, Killian was still really raw. He didn't have the knowledge that he has now. So just being able to have that knowledge and being able to have that expertise and being able to sit back and watch on injury and then coming back and being able to produce the way he has for us. Even last year when Darius went down and he came in and helped us out along the way. So Killian's looking really good.
Does he look like an SEC left tackle now to
Yes,
you?
for sure, most definitely. His developments came a long way.
All right, thanks guys.